Okay, hi guys, it's Bonnie from Dwelling Logs. I would like to come and just give you guys a bit of a check-in and let you know how our term is going. We are wrapping up some of our materials a little bit ahead of schedule for our dinosaurs and geology unit. Part of that is due to a lost book, and part of it is due to just a switch in interest. So I probably will set up carefully our new term, and then I will come back and I'll do another video on like the details of what we're doing the next term. I'll give you a bit of hints about it. But yeah, we are crossing off all the things. We have some Bible that we need to catch up on, but I figure we could just even do that in the next few days. All of our books are done being read. We've been doing, I wanted to do like dinosaurs and geology. And on my previous videos, I gave you guys all the books that we've been using. So if you're looking into the details of the books that we've been using, you can go into my past videos that I've talked about this last term. And they've been good. A lot of young earth materials, which has been really nice from different places that I shared. We've been doing a lot of compare and contrast, a bit of apologetics, different perspectives. I mean, I've said before, on the topic of dinosaurs and geology, I'm a young earther, but I really believe in exposing my kids from my perspective, and I tell them that it's my perspective and it's not everyone's perspective, but to show them other people's perspective and stuff. We don't completely avoid or boycott materials that have an old earth view, but of course I see it through my lens and I teach it through my lens, so it's been really good. The conversations have been so fruitful, and it's been really, really wonderful. So basically what I've done is just been looking at sort of what makes us wrap up this term. Why am I saying, well, we're finished our term now, and what we're going to go moving forward. So I have two sheets. These are available in my, what did I call it now? This is free on my website, my planner, my term planner, I think. Just one second. It's my feast planner. Anyway, this is still free on my site. If you want to do things like me and plan like me, then go ahead and grab one. These are so helpful. And what you come up with is you end up creating yourself a bit of a timetable for how your weeks, your days, the days of your week are going to go, and how you're going to break up your subjects. Like maybe you don't want to do every subject every day. The days of our week look different depending on the activities that are going on and the subjects and how we break them up. And then this paper here is basically all the things that I want to get done in our term, which we're going at about a 10-week term. And each of these columns represents a week of work that I divide and conquer in our actual timetable here. So basically all of our materials are getting used up. We had one more book. I really wanted to do the Mr. Hibb geology book. We finished the Mr. Hibb dino book that we got, and I wanted the geology book, and we started it, and it is somewhere in my house, and I have no idea where it went. I don't know if we took it somewhere because we took school like on the road to read, but we have lost that geology book, and I'm very disappointed. And I did think that that was going to be the thing that kind of drug this term out. And anyways, it's gone. The kids are very saturated in all the things that we have learned already. So we're like, okay, we feel okay about moving on if we wanted to. This morning, we actually finished up our other ones. We finished up our Dire Dragons book, which kind of goes through the things about dinosaurs and dinosaurs in art. It basically works to prove how dinosaurs and humans coexisted. And that was a very good, very interesting book. My kids really loved to look at that one visually. And then we finished up our Guide to Dinosaur book today. And yeah. So basically everything that's left, if there's anything left on this list, it's stuff that can move on. One thing I do when I plan my term, I will try to plan out everything that's themed, like, because I know Charlotte Mason was not a big like unit study, carry the same theme person. I think she actually wrote that like she doesn't think that kids need those connections. I just love unit study, and we love unit study style. We love themed learning. So we're hanging on to that, even though we're trying to blend in all the Charlotte Mason things. So everything that goes with our term theme, I have laid out to work and get finished by the end of our term. However, anything that isn't to do with the term theme, we can just carry on, and when we start our next term, all those things can just move over. For example, I'm not going to put on this term schedule which math lessons we're going to do every day. I'm just going to do the next lesson, because we're just going to keep going with that no matter where we're at in our themes and our terms and that kind of thing. So math is like that, grammar is like that. I do schedule out our Bible because we have several different things going on with Bible and I just want to see it. But there's some Bible stuff that we kind of got behind on our reading. And if there's anything left after this week, I'll just move it over into my next term table. So that's fine. Same as scripture memory. Latin is just like a next lesson thing. I'm going to fill in all of our new reads for our new topic. We're going to do math. That's a next lesson thing. Grammar is a next lesson thing. Writing. Classic literature. This particular time, I did not have a classic lit pick for our theme. Otherwise, I would have cared about where that was moved and fitting in. But right now, we're actually doing some reading. My son's doing a bunch of reading for, it's Remembrance Day next week. So he's reading about the First World War. We got a whole bunch of books on stuff like that. So, and he just finished all the, let me go get them actually, because they're really good. Okay, so my son is working on Frightful's Mountain right now, but he read these two. So these are a series. This is Jean Craighead George. If you want a novel study to go with it, the first time we read On My Side of the Mountain, we got the pack from Wonder House Creative that goes with it that was really, really fun to do with it. That was, I think, 2 years ago. And I will link that below if I remember here. I'll make a note of it so I don't forget. Wonder House Creative pack. I'll make a link in the show notes or in like the description below where to get the pack that goes with it. But anyway, there's this one, My Side of the Mountain. It's a boy who goes away and lives in the wilderness and loves it. And then on the far side of the mountain, I haven't read this one, but my son really enjoyed it. And I haven't read this one either, but he is starting out Frightful's Mountain, which is the bird in these stories. They all kind of go together. So he is reading this series. Really nice story. Like if you want just a nice book, and like especially if you've got boys who like the outdoors and want to read about the woods and building contraptions to hunt and haul water and stuff like that, these are good books. I would recommend them. Even if I haven't read the two sequels, I still recommend them. I think that Jean Craighead George, they're just from a nice era, and yeah, I'm a fan. Okay, and then because Remembrance Day is coming, my son is reading through this right now. I'd still like to get his review. It was from the junior section, so I'm assuming by that it's not an adult necessarily book, but I thought it would be cool to hear some first hand true stories of the First World War. And then I might as well show you some of the other stuff that we've been doing for Remembrance Day. Hang on, before I go to Remembrance Day stuff, I was just giving examples of things that we don't need to carry on here. Poetry, we're still working on, we're still going to stick with Robert Williams Service. We're still memorizing the Cremation of Sam McGee. So that's going to carry on until next year, at least the memorizing of the poem. We won't be continuing biography studies with him. And I'm undecided if we'll switch up just poetry reading or if we'll spend all of our poetry time memorizing or what. We're a little bit behind. We haven't spent as much dedicated time memorizing poetry as I'd want, but we're in Bible quizzing now, and my oldest is spending a lot of time memorizing that. And we're doing Latin now, which we spend a lot of extra time memorizing our Latin chants. So there's just a little less time than I expected, to be honest, to work towards poetry. So I'm not sure, but for now I'm just going to keep Robert Williams Service on there. I have some art that I specifically chose for dragon art that went with our dinosaur studies. So I will change our artist up, but just as an example of the things on here that I can change the term and carry on no matter where we're at with those other subjects. It's just our themed subjects that I want to make sure I wrap up together before we start our new term. Okay, so Remembrance Day. Also, I have a freebie to share with you that I'll do on this video. And then at the end, I'll give you a bit of a rundown on what we're thinking for the next term. And then I think my next video will have to be fleshing that out a little bit more. Okay, so Remembrance Day is in a week. So some of these are ours. These 2 books are ours. Highly recommend these books. I will link them below. These are our favorite Remembrance Day books. They are from Usborne, I think. They're Lift the Flap. And so they're really fun for little kids, but they have so much information in them too. So like all the way, I'd say, to middle school, they'd be very interesting. And one is the First World War, one's the Second World War. And yeah, they were a very good pick. And we haul them out every year and take care of them. And they were an excellent investment. If you get stuff like this from the library, I find that like the things are ripped off and it's not taken care of very well. So these were a good like book to have in your home. And then another book that we got from the library, my son really liked. I want to share it with caution. I sent this out in my newsletter and I posted about this, so caution about this. But he really liked this book, Canada at War. It's a graphic novel about World War II. And the heads up is it's very graphic. It doesn't show, but it talks about Hitler's suicide at the end of the war. There is cartoon, blood, and gore, and all the things. So I like it. I would say rating like 14. I think that's actually, when I looked it up, I think that's the recommended age is 14 plus. My son's 11. I find value in truth and reality, but you have to judge your kid, and you don't want to show them something that's going to disturb them, so it was a win for us. And it's a graphic novel, so that was cool, but just enter into it with caution, know your kids, and what would be healthy and beneficial to them and what would not. So anyway, I thought this was a very cool, and it's not a thin read either. It was quite detailed, and he really got a lot out of that this year. This was probably his favorite Remembrance Day pick. And then we haven't gone through all these, but we're going to go through these this week. This is our library haul. I got Canada's D-Day Heroes on Juno Beach, History Makers of the Second World War, and then We Will Remember Them, The Story of Remembrance. We usually get a book called, what's it called? Something about the poppy. I'll have to link it below. But it's one that it basically is it's beautifully illustrated, and it just has the poem, the Flanders Field poem by John McCrae. If you live in Canada, that's a well-known poem. Anyways, very cool. So I have a few things to share that are actually free right now. Jacqueline from Books and Willows and I, every year, I think this is our 3rd or 4th year, doing a Remembrance Day freebie. She has a poetry or a poppy anatomy pack to do some science. And I had a John McCrae biography and poetry copywork pack. And so we put those together for the last 2 years. They're still here. They're still available. If you've never grabbed them, grab them for free. I'll link the details below. Also this year, I actually have included, I should move over and then maybe I can put some pictures here. Also this year, I made a World War I art appreciation pack. And I really enjoy doing that. And it's really like step-by-step appreciation. If you've never done art appreciation before, that's okay, because it's not just art. It has like the guide to ask questions as you look at the art and look for things and ponder things. So it's very guided. And if you're used to art appreciation, then you can just do your own thing if you want. That's okay too. There's a little tiny bit of a bio, a little bit about the painting, and then some art appreciation prompts. And then all this beautiful World War I art. So that's there. Also this year that's new is Jacqueline has taken her, Jacqueline has taken her Poppy Anatomy pack, and she's actually beefed it up into a whole nature study pack now. So even if you've done the Poppy Anatomy before, it's changed, it's bigger, it's deeper. So that's for free too. So I will link the details below. Basically, you subscribe to my site and you'll get the packs in your welcome email. I think on her site, it works where you subscribe and she sends you a password that will get your free nature study. So make sure you do that if you haven't already. And even if it's after Remembrance Day, it can be a great thing to either add to your digital library, or maybe you go over some Remembrance Day things. It doesn't have to be November 11th. Anyway, we are going to be doing those things this week though. So I'll share the details for that below where you can get yours. And yeah, hopefully it can be like a meaningful, wonderful Remembrance Day time. I think that it's important to teach our kids and to sit with their kids remembering and acknowledging the service and the sacrifice that's happened. The distance, I keep thinking, man, the distance between now and then is getting bigger, and the remembering has to be even more intentional as we go. Anyway, okay, so that is enough about this term. Altogether, I think it went really well. I think it was a super fun topic to do. I think if we enter into it again next time, I would like to dig more into geology. I was really missing that geology book that we missed, but we did get a ton of geology just with the dinosaur studies that we did. So that was really good. I don't think there was anything I wanted to add to that. But, okay, going on to next term, here's what we're thinking. I found a whole huge stack of stuff that must have been donated to our library of comic books. They're all asterisks and obelisks. And I was like, okay, I think that this would be really fun. I think my son would like it. He loves graphic novels. He loves comedy. And wouldn't this be cute? And I remember these from when I was a kid. I just have never read all that my library has now. So my son's been into these. So that was a piece of it. And I do want to do some Canadian studies this year and get into government and stuff, because we probably are going to have our election next year. And so that will be something, but I was kind of hoping to do that as our last term of the school year, not in the middle here. So, and I have a few other things kind of that have been mulling around in the back burner of things that I want to do. One of the things that's been waiting has been Shakespeare, but I don't necessarily want to go through all the plays. I want to focus on a play I've already chosen. We're going to focus on Caesar. And so I was thinking I'd like to find a way to do that. Anyway, what was cool is as my son's been reading these, he's like, Mom, guess what? There's Latin in here. And sometimes it's even Latin that I know from our Latin school that we're doing now. And I thought that was a really cool connection. Also, these guys are in the days of Caesar in Rome. And so he's interested right now in in Roman history and in this time period. And I thought, well, that goes great with Caesar. And I've been wanting to tie in Shakespeare somehow. So that works really well. And there was something else too I was going to tie in. Oh yeah, I've got this, I got a few packs of language things. So we want to do Beowulf. I have a pack from Julia at my Texas homeschool that goes through Beowulf, and it's one of these old poems, and you talk about languages, and you talk about, like you study the poem and the writing of it and that kind of thing. I also have another pack from Vanessa at Wild Feather Education, or Edu, who, she wrote a pack, I forget, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like the evolution of the English language. And we kind of got into this a teeny bit when we did our Robin Hood study last year. I have my Robin Hood novel reflection on my website. So we did that when we read our Robin Hood book last year, the Howard Pyle version, which I highly recommend. Anyways, so I've been hanging on and wanting to go kind of loop back, because now I have this evolution of the English language pack from Vanessa too. So all these little pieces are kind of coming together. I don't want to overwhelm our schedule with too many things to do, but I'm kind of excited because I kind of think that all of this is going to tie together really well with this great comic books that my kids are just loving, with the Latin, with the ancient Rome, with Caesar, with Shakespeare, with language. I think it's going to tie really nicely in. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to try to organize that some more, and then I'll come back and I'll share with you guys our actual term and the books that we're going to choose to go through and materials. And I will link and list all those materials when that time comes. Probably my next video is my guess. Anyways, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of update. We're already at 19 minutes, so I better stop talking. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great homeschool week, and we will talk to you next time. Okay. Have a great day.